South Africa's factory activity has fallen back to contraction. The latest APSA Purchasing Managers Index has dropped to 48.1 points. The reading for November is from the 52.6 points reported the month prior. Both business activity and new sales orders sub-indices fell following an expansion in September. This comes as demand remains unpredictable despite decreasing inflation and interest rates. The global political environment has also gotten more complicated, with concerns about world economic trade dynamics following Donald Trump's victory as President of the United States. In other business news, Alexandra Forbes has posted an 8% profit rise for the 6 months ending in September. As a result, the JSE-listed financial services group has declared an interim dividend of 22 cents per share, which is up by 10% from the previous year. The company's shares have since firmed following this development, jumping up by around 1.76%. Alexforbes CEO Dawie de Villiers speaks to us about this performance. Thank you so much for your time, Dawie. What does Alexforbes owe this performance to, in the context of improved economic sentiment and better prospects for consumer activity currently?
Thanks for having me, Tumisang. I agree with you. I think the biggest contributor is probably the improved sentiment, which obviously has a big effect on the local markets. And then the forecast of more interest rate cuts into the future, which obviously has a positive effect on the markets as well. We have about 50% of our revenue dependent on the markets and our asset management industry. So that has really landed us well in terms of revenue growth. And then we've had a few years in a row now very good new business, and cumulatively that does add up to good revenue growth as well. And then lastly, we had the phenomenon of the two-pot implementation, as you all know, in the last bit. Only 1 month included in our numbers, but that also is revenue that we did not have in the past, which added to the revenue gain.
Let's dive into the elements of the two-pot system. How has Alexforbes been impacted or even affected, as well as a growth strategy in terms of how this then encompasses what we will know as a so-called new normal going forward?
Yeah, and you hit it on the head. I think from here on, it's definitely the new normal. It's business as usual, and people can now once a year claim. And we will actually see claims continue during the year, and with peaks like in New Year for school clothes and December for Christmas, and certainly when the new year tax year is up, we'll see new claims again. So definitely back business as usual. For our side, we spent quite a lot of money on systems and on IT and making it accessible for every individual to claim with us direct. We were an institutional service provider, and now suddenly we have to cater for over 1 million members. So we had to spend a lot of money on tech. But it's been great for us, and the best thing about two-pot for the whole industry, and I think for members, is the awareness of saving now. Everybody's now engaged with their pension fund, with their provider, with how much they're saving, with how much they are going to get when they retire. And that is great for the industry, and it's great for all those individuals who should be a lot better off, even though they withdraw from two-pot in between. They should be a lot better off at the end, just because they care more now and they engage more and they're getting advice in terms of how to save.
As a parting shot, the overall near-term outlook, what is it, especially as we approach a new year with that continued optimism that we spoke about a short while ago around a new dispensation in government, the GNU, better prospects on inflation as well as monetary policy easing?
Plus the G20 next year, so overall very, very positive outlook. There will still be a lot of volatility around and risks in the system. There's still geopolitical risk, as you mentioned. But overall, from a macro perspective, a very positive outlook. Good engagement with government, with policymakers from a business perspective. Lots of cleanup happening, and certainly the markets look forward to a good year ahead, culminating in more interest rate cuts. So certainly that bodes well for the economy, and it bodes well for businesses in South Africa.
Thank you so much for your time. Alexforbes CEO Dawie de Villiers speaking to us about their latest financial performance.